Islam. Right, try that again, right? Thanks for being here. Welcome to the Moorish Heritage and History School. I'm Sister RVBey. It's good to see you. We will be making an interesting class tonight. We're going to have Lyndon share with us his experience last week on his way to class. Look, I'm telling you right now. Can we keep it down a little bit in the back? We're on the air already. On his way to class, while the discussion of class, y'all need to be a little quieter in the back, please. Can you tell? I don't think they're hearing me. Y'all have to be a little quieter in the back. Jeez. Say it again. On his way to this class, while the discussion was about traveling unalienable, inalienable, meaning you do not need, like it is a fact that you don't need driver's license, instruments, and etc. in order to navigate. Everybody knows that now. Here's the deal. It's a fact. That is true. But unless you know that's true, there's nothing that could ever be done about it collectively or otherwise. So when people say, well, what you going to do, because you know they're out there and they're accosting people on the highway. I'm sorry. Thanks, Celeste. I apologize. They're accosting people. They're doing this and they're doing, yes, the reason why this is occurring is because that's exactly what they're doing. So then, therefore, they're the ones who are violating the inalienable rights, but they're doing it under an assumption. Under the assumption that well, I mean, there's a lot of ways it must be done, but under the assumption that you need to have it in order to travel, right? Right? Or that you are really doing commerce. That's another reason they can say, because you have to tag on the car, so therefore, on the conveyance, on the vehicle, right? So therefore, you must be engaging in commerce, and if you're engaging in commerce, we have, we can stop you, we can hinder you. Well, we can stop you to make these routine checks, but only if you are. So they're making a lot of assumptions, right? But anyway, the funny thing, but the fact is that Delaware versus Pros, they cannot stop you to see if you have these things. Now, what does all this mean to us? Nothing if we don't collectively receive it. Nothing if we continue to say, like, for instance, we were talking today, if we continue to think and say, well, they're still doing what they're doing. They're still doing what they're doing because, as Annie E. has said 1,000 times, no one has sued them. They asked for their bond. What does that? We talked about that, right? What does their bond got to do with anything? And usually, as you said, it's a blanket bond, which is an indemnity bond, which is for the corporation and got jack to do with the individual who just hindered you. We just had these conversations on our way that, they, we asked for their oath. We asked for the delegation of authority. What's stronger, the delegation of authority? I know we said this before. I know we have, but this is the energy that was going down a few minutes ago. So what's the deal? We're saying that even if let's say you had an oath of office, because they're creating one for us, right? They're creating one because we keep making a big deal of it. But now the problem we have is our people don't know the difference between what a real oath is and what it should say. Oh, boy, now we're in another dilemma because we're not really studying to apply the information. We're just doing it because somebody said to do it. The reason it was said to be done is because of the ramifications it has in law and in real and in fact. And although truth is falsehood is strangely mixed, still you have to know the difference. So the delegation of authority, as we were talking, so let's say they present an oath of office. That's for the officer of the court, supposed officer of the court. But the delegation of authority is for the court itself. So let's say you have an oath of office, even though they do not. But let's just say they did. But if the court that they're going to sit in doesn't have the delegation of authority, it doesn't matter what kind of oath you have. This is, right, supported by and case law to support it that says, guess what? One of my favorites is a judge, you're saying he's a real judge, Article 3, as we will make the distinction, sits in an administrative court. I mean, the court that definitely doesn't have delegated authority, right? because legislators can't give that to an administrative body. The moment a real judge, I've got to keep it down back there, a real judge sits in an administrative court, what does the case law say? He loses all judicial authority, right?
Right.
Because he's not in a lawful venue. So it doesn't matter that you have an oath of office to be an officer of the court. Proper. You're sitting in a venue that has no delegation of authority delegated to it. Do you see this? Now you see? So since everybody, and he was bringing this out in the car, as we were traveling up, since everybody's asking this oath of office and doesn't know the difference or know why they're asking, they're saying, this is stupid Negro, this is what they say in their mind. We're going to just present this oath of office, huh? Now, there you go, right there. But we know that when we looked at an oath of office, even from before, we read right in it and saw that it ain't really a real oath of office anyway. Because we, maybe, when I say we, I mean we and maybe others know what an oath of office, like it'll say, oh, I took an office to the U.S. Constitution. What the hell is that? Or just, I took an oath to the Constitution. Or this person, blah, 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 has taken an oath to the Constitution and to the state constitution. What constitution did they take an oath to? All more specific. So that's just, they're fooling the people who don't know. Because, and we never ask. And then you're like, I asked them for their oath of office and they didn't give me one. No, I asked them and they gave it to me, so now what? Well, what does it say? It's void on its face because of what it says, ab initio, void ab initio. Anyway, I said all that to say that last week, so today's show, I just wanted to open up and then two things. Today, Lyndon is going to talk about last week when he was on his way here, listening on the blog to the show while the discussion was about traveling, he gets pulled or is hindered. Yeah, sounds exciting, right? Well, it is. So I'm not going to say anything, but that's going to happen today. Secondly, another thing is, who's the brother that gave us, you the one who pulled out for us the Hitler information that Hitler mentioned about who the real Jews were? Yeah, we should, brother. I apologize. Demetrius, brother Demetrius, Winston Demetrius back. Remember I said to you that we need to get no, it's okay. You didn't get it, did you? You don't have to, because don't you know who we got amongst us? Are you not aware who uses a special scoop, as we say, when it comes to researching stuff? Sit down and eat it up. No, give her the time. This time, that's her. She's the one. She got the information, and I can't wait for her to share it because it's so interesting that one of the things, yes, we got it, so take note, which means we can speak about that portion of it with reference. Like to speak with reference and not with just feeling. So she found it, and all I'm going to say is, because they know that we have fallen from wanting to study the generation, they'll take books, and the ones that are really expensive, they know that if a person or a group of people don't even want to study, they ain't going to pay a whole lot of finance for a book. So they'll put it in expensive books, such as the same thing they did when they dealt with the higher universities that they call higher, because the highest universities, truthfully, here it is, was the ones like Cordova and a few others that we established to teach them. So let's not cut that off. But aside from that, bringing it up to more contemporary times, like Harvard and Oxford and et cetera like that, you couldn't get into those universities because they were actually teaching about you, which is the resource of the earth. So you couldn't get in there because they were using you as a human resource, learning all about you to go out and then finance off of you being the human resources and your ancestral estate and the resources of your ancestral estate. That's really why. All right? So Those statistics are going to go down today, and with that, I know Winston's not back up yet, or is he? Well, actually, I'm going to turn it over to you to I don't know if you want to do Winston's thing first, or you want to talk. I keep saying Winston. Excuse me. No, Winston. Yeah, this was confusing. Brother Winston right there is the one who gave us the Hitler information. So that's why I'm saying Winston. Lyndon is the one who was traveling last week here when he got hindered from travel. So whenever that comes through, that's what we're going to be, two of the things at least that will be discussed today. And are you oh, there is one other thing. My people, guess what? I have to tell them about the 2 days, the two weeks out of the month. You know what? The universe takes care of everything. The universe decides even the seeds of thought that you plant because the sun and the moon waters them. We will only be in this venue for 2 weeks out of the month, starting maybe this month, right? What's today's date? I'll get this. It's the 2nd of March. We may be back here. Is this the 2nd week of March or the 1st? We really shouldn't be here this week. That's why we're here, because of schedule changes and construction that's going on here. Now, the people listening, nothing's going to change because wherever we are, we're going to broadcast. But as far as the physical and there has been a lot of taking for granted that we're here every week because we are for 9 years now, completed 9 years. So whenever you complete something on 9 years, there has to be a new direction coming. I didn't choose it, but that's how it is. So I'm cool about it. I'm real calm about it because calmer than one most might have thought, right? Right? So I'm saying that because I need you to know that we're only going to be here on the 2nd and 3rd Wednesday. We won't be in this room, although I love this room. Don't you love this room? I like this room. I like the spirit. I like the feeling of it, but it's not going to necessarily be availed. Oh, you don't like it? The reception? And you can see after the open. Yeah, all right. But at any rate, we will be where we normally are, in the Temple of Liberation room. We will be there, but we won't only be there on the 2nd and 3rd week of the month, back to back, 3rd Wednesday of the month, and the 4th if there's 5 Wednesdays in the month. Got that? I believe April is that. So we'll be here like April 13th, 20th, and 27th back to back in that respect, right? So we're now at March. So I'm not sure the March schedule, but I will say this. How many of you are going on RVBey publications? All right. Please do so, because we used to come here and no one ever went on the publications to look to see whether we're here, whether we're not here. But because of this change, make sure you check, because we'll post it. Because I can tell you now, it's the 2nd and 3rd month, 2nd and 3rd Wednesday guaranteed to be physically here, and sometimes the 4th. But this change is going to be taking place because in March we've got, no, what did I say? In April we got 3. This is still March, and I'm not clear. Yeah, we're in March right now, and this is the 1st week, 2nd day of March, which is why I think it's here the 9th, not the 23rd, right? Or is it the 23rd? No, we wanted the 23rd for no. Okay, on the 23rd, I had mentioned that Ms. Ryan was going to have a projection class on the 23rd, but that's going to be changed now to a guaranteed, probably, what did he say, April 13th? Yeah. All right, so that's going to change. So, but generally, the 23rd is out, but the 30th of March is still good, and Abdullah will be here on the 30th at. Right, that's why. Well, see, now I'm confused because it's the 1st and the last week that. All right, look, we're not sure of the schedule as we make the transition for the month of March, but we are sure of the schedule for April, which is the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. That I do know. We are sure that on the 30th of March, we're supposed to still be okay being here for Dooley to do his class. That's why I'm confused, because you just said it's the last week of the month. It's the 5th week, so the first and last week we don't get. So now that contradicts that. So he did tell me that the 30th was okay, but that's the last week. So now that contradicts the fact that the.
Well, technically here the 9th, which is 2nd.
No, I ain't gonna for March. No, I'm not saying anything about March because it's confusing. I'm saying that we're definitely here for the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th of April. But for the rest of the month of March, I can't say because it's confused me now because I thought it was not the last week, and she just said that 30th, which I was told on the phone we will have, is the last week. So now I'm confused. So check the site because I don't really know about that. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to know before the night's out. As we turn this class over to do some things, I got to go find out, all right? But as far as March, but I do know it's the 2nd and 3rd week of the month, which is back-to-back, Wednesday of the month, which is back-to-back, is what we will be doing physically here. And sometimes the 4th week when there's 5 Wednesdays in the month. Got it? It is the first and the last Wednesday we will not have. That's essentially what that is saying. But as we do this transition for this month, I got to find out.
So what does that mean in terms of the class?
Yes.
It's still going to go.
Are you on the mic?
It's not going.
No. Okay, well, nobody can hear you because the air.
Wait a minute.
Okay, talking to my mic right here.
No, I don't need to.
Okay.
All right.
As far as the class being broadcast. As far as the class being broadcast.
Yes.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yes.
Oh, well, this is going to be broadcast for the listeners every week, no matter what. We're just going to be finding another location for the other Wednesdays, but you guys may have to come and travel to see us on those other two. See, I didn't plan this, but the universe did. I did it. The universe did. The universe, whatever's going on here, construction, new people trying to get scheduled while there's construction, moving and shifting around, has made it so that we can only be here for 2 weeks out of the month from now on indefinitely. So that's just a slow, like, all right, you guys can come see us. We'll let you know where we are. I mean, we got the, you know what I mean? I'm going to go to the website as soon as we just found this out, so we don't have settlement on where that will be. In the meantime, we will be here the 2nd and 3rd Wednesday of every month until that changes. Got it? All right. So with that, okay, if you're doing that, yeah, I tell you, plant the seed, let it grow. That's what it is. Plant the seed and let it grow. It's the sun and the moon, grow it. And when it happens like that, you know you're doing the right thing. Have the patience when you plant a seed. Don't sit there patting your feet wondering why it ain't grow yet. It's coming. It is. But so again, what I was saying is that we're going to have this sharing of what happened last week, and we're going to with books. See, here's the thing. How many of you have ever read this thing called The Secret Covenant? You did. Did you give that to me?
No, I didn't.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The 3-page Secret Covenant?
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about the book.
Well, maybe this is out of the book called The Secret Covenant. Does it give information on what to do to keep people mentally enslaved? Is that what's in it? I don't want to share it.
No, basically this is about thinking positive or positive to have.
Oh, all right. Because a covenant means an agreement. You have to come into agreement with self and with life and with others. Secret really is from sacred. What's sacred, right? So I can see that meaning that. But this is something else where there was a covenant made. See, one thing that we have to understand is that we are the cause of our own fall of humanity. We We have been marching around thinking that the so-called white man, as we call it erroneously, is our problem and has caused our problems and et cetera like that. That is not true. We need to come up out of that. The fall, the women fell, really. So all you guys should be feeling at ease when we say that it's her fault, she needs to get it together. But a lot of times guys are not at ease, and we don't even like to talk about it no more because y'all too damn sensitive, too darn sensitive. But it's the truth. She fell, and she needs to get her behind up and do her thing because she brings in life. And she teaches first. And then you wouldn't have anybody disrespecting mother and home and everything because it is from the house that the beings are being put into society to govern society, so women need to just stop it. In the meantime, the fall of humanity is the consequence of her fall. Do you understand? Falling humanity is the consequence of your mother's falling. Period. It's nobody's fault. It's nobody's this. But even if it was somebody's fault, it don't matter. Because if you fall right here, you can't get up over there. You got to get up where you fell, Mom. Period. Right? So when I say Mom, I'm talking about the mother of the universe. I'm talking about everybody has come from mother. I'm not trying to do a competitive thing. It's so hard for me not to let this come out of my mouth because some people actually feel offended because they think that we're talking about putting sons down when we're clouded as hell because that's not what it is. It's because you and I have been taught to put our mother down by indoctrination, along with nature and everything else in nature, which is Mother Nature, or Meta. Meta is Mother Nature. So you read the Meta, think you got it going on and don't know it's Mother Nature. You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff that we have. So I'm saying all this to say that we have got to recognize that it is the fall, that it is not the European. They only picked up our spoils. Do you get it? Picked up our spoils from this activity. So still we stand, not realizing who and where the answers are. And then fighting back at each other. And the biggest bite back is that the son against the mother and the mother against the son. And that's what has occurred. And it's not cool at all. And until we fix it and stop being, not really looking at it for what it is, because that's the relationship, is the mother and son relationship that everything else flourishes from. Right? So I've got to be careful because, some people think that when we speak the truth of this, we're putting down the sons. It's crazy. How can you say that? I'm telling you, it's my fault that we fell. And I got to be the one to pick it up. So what are you talking about? Oh, what? You can't fix it. Women, sisters, it doesn't matter what the sons do to be right and exact. If you don't get it right, everything they do is useless. It is. So why can't that be said without anybody feeling like it's competition? It's ridiculous, right? But I realize that some people are really offended and think that, this conversation is putting them down. It's crazy. It's like, wow, that's the answer to our problem, and we got a problem hearing the answer to our problem. Why? This is, you know what I'm saying? Why? That's the only answer. That's the only answer. So, because of that, yes, there has been some ego stroking that's easy to do for anybody, a lot of people. That now I ain't gonna say that because then somebody will be offended. But that's in history. That's how it works. Because yes, Islam, peace and love. Good to see you. Was the woman put down by the son? Yes. The matriarchal society is not sick. The matriarchal society is not operating. Gotcha. See what I mean? See, this is the mindset. Although nature is operating, and nature finds a way. That's what aspects are, even when you're doing your chart. What is an aspect? Whatever's in the way, whatever's in the energy will go this way and will make, it's going to grow. Like a fence will go through, a tree will go through a fence because the fence is in the way. The tree still won't grow. So, it's not, because we've been taught to operate on another patriarch, which is what the Christian religion, pseudo-religion, is all about. That's what it is. Okay? All right. So rethink that. Any other questions? Are you ready now? Or, well, I'm saying, are you ready, or were you doing the thing? Were you going to do Lyndon first? Or are you going to do this? All right. I love this because Brother Winston, Lyndon Winston, getting it confused. The reference was made. The sister found the reference, and so the information that was shared that Hitler did about who the real Jew is, we find it to be credible that it was written. We understand why. And with that, sister, did you get a green? Did I get a green too? Oh, pineapple. Okay, good. All right, with that, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the class, and Sister Addie is going to share with you her references. Oh, okay. Hold on, everybody.
Don't you go far now.
No, take the phone. I'm only going to
Oh, all right. All righty. Islam, everyone. All right. Who's the person that found the reference? I thought this was really interesting when I read it. My only concern was I wanted to know where it came from. So, of course, I had to go looking for the information. I started Googling. I went to a lot of places, and I finally found it. How many people have seen this? It's Hitler knew who the real Jews were. Have you ever read it? It's an excerpt out of a book. Have you ever heard of?
I've heard.
Have you ever heard of Hitler making a statement relative to knowing who the real Jews are? You thought it was a fake? I never even. You know what?
I heard the Israelites speak about.
Yes.
They speak about.
You heard them speak about what Hitler said? Anybody else? I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. But it make, oh my gosh, it's like so many things open up in my mind as I read it. So, of course, I went Googling, and I found that this excerpt comes from the book called The Nazis, World War II. It's a Time Life book, and the author is Robert Edwin Herstein. But when I was to look for the book to purchase it, at the time, I could only find it for 300 notes. 300. I'm on the internet. I could only find it for 300, and it was referenced as an Amazon book for sale. 300. But they sell volumes for like 30 and 40 notes. The problem is you don't know what volume this is in. And if this is in a volume, I want to see all the volumes, right? Because what else is in there that he said? This is what it reads. And this is reference that's coming from page 132 out of the Nazis, World War II, Time Life book by Robert Edwin Herstein. It reads, Hitler said, even in his death, he will start World War III. One of his soldiers asked how. Hitler replied, the day mankind finds out what I was trying to defend this nation, Germany, from, then that's the day World War III will start. For on that day, mankind will learn that I was trying to save my nation from the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Jews. For if the Americans win the war, then they will conquer the world and forever be a slave to the Jews. And they will try to conquer God. Do you know who America has in its possession? No, the soldier replied. The Americans has the jewels of God. The Americans have stolen God's precious jewels. What do you mean, his precious jewels? The soldier asked. Hitler said, America has stolen the Jews of God, his jewelry, the Negroes. They are the true Hebrews. What a foolish move and a direct challenge to God. And they plan on moving these false white Jews into a state of Israel. America is desperate in its attempt to win this war using atom bombs on Japan. America will destroy the whole world in its attempt to conquer it. When America and its Jewish slave masters conquer the world and the world realize I was right, then all nations will begin a third world war to dethrone America of its rule. Every nation will soon possess atom bombs of their own. It will be the end of most of the world as we know it. Why will the Jews control America, the soldier asked. Hitler said, because the white Jews knows that the Negroes are the real children of Israel. And to keep America's secret, the Jews will blackmail America. The Jews will blackmail America. The Jews will extort America. Their plan for world domination won't work if the Negroes knew who they were. The white citizens of America will be terrified to know that all this time they've been mistreating and discriminating and lynching the children of Israel. They will fear God will destroy them as he destroyed Egypt for doing the same thing. So the elite, the Illuminati, keeps this a secret at all costs. After I die, I will one day cause World War III just by this message, which will be like planting a seed in people's minds until it sprouts once they nurture that seed and seek more truth and learn Hitler was right. I did the world a favor by killing the false Jews because they designated a false state of Israel. But I fear I have failed. The world will fall into the hands of Satan. This is an excerpt out of the book, The Nazis, World War II, a Time Life book by Robert Edwin Herstein, page 132. I'm going to try and see if I can get it because I saw some other ways of getting it. And if I do, I will definitely be copying pages for everybody. And if I can, possibly the whole entire book, just to give away to everyone so that everybody can have a copy. We can all do the research, and then we can come back and talk about it. Because this little bit right here is really amazing, interesting, but I said it. Didn't I say, well, you might not have been here, but a couple years ago, and I don't have my markers, but a couple of years ago I said that these modern Europeans, they can call themselves Jews all day long, but they can never call themselves Jew elves. I didn't know about this. Did he not come and say the same thing? The Moors are the Jew elves. Who knew? Who knew? But now, look at this. as I read this, it made me look at a lot of stuff, like this whole propaganda they have around Hitler. It makes you want to rethink a lot of stuff, right? It makes you want to really go and research Hitler's life and find out really what was he about. Because we have been running with this propaganda that was put out by the very people that he was trying to look like, save us from. Right? I mean, it goes really deep into, okay, wait a minute now. He was trying to stop a lot of the stuff that was happening, and of course, it looked like his efforts were flawed, but, you know, the message still got out. I mean, how many years later it got out? But it also showed me that if they want to hide stuff like this from us, all they got to do is put it in a book, right? Put it in a book, because we won't read certain books. We'll read a lot of black books, trash books. Islam?
I was reading too at one point that they said Hitler's name was Rothschild.
Who, Hitler?
Yeah.
Where did you read that?
We studied, so, they say like his real name was Rothschild and he changed it to his one, he was on the German campaign.
Well, I heard that he was really what they called, at that time they was calling him a black or a Negro. I heard that he was really Asiatic, right? And I also heard that he was really a Jew. So if he's really Asiatic, of course he's got to be really a Jew, right? But who knows? Because nobody here knows really. We don't really know what Hitler really looked like. We just have an image that somebody presented of what he looked like, and we can look at a lot of images today that they have altered, right? I mean, the picture of George of Great Britain, everybody thought he was a modern European, right? Till we saw the real picture. Henry VIII, we all thought he was a real modern European until we saw the picture. Abraham Lincoln, right? Beethoven, Shakespeare, all of these people, they reconstructed to appear as though they were modern Europeans when in fact they're Moors. I think it's rather interesting that we have fallen for this huge lie that says that Moorish people, melanated people, have done nothing. Nothing. All the time we've been here, we've done nothing significant. Right? Nothing significant. Isn't it sort of ironic that the modern Europeans have done everything? Yet, if you go back to, 800, there was no mention of modern Europeans. Right? How about, they have it that, it's so funny because I was listening to Yosef Ben Yochanan. Oh, I just love him. He is so funny. But you gotta really research some of the things that he's saying just for accuracy. I believe much of what he says is accurate, but I know a couple people from Ethiopia, and some of the things he says, they have disputed. So I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm just saying we got to research. But I thought it was interesting, and I know this. They say that Hippocrates is the father of medicine, right? Hippocrates is the father of medicine, but Imhotep, he said, I love the way he put it. If Hippocrates is the father of medicine, then Imhotep must be the emperor. I was like, yeah, I like that. Imhotep was doing brain surgery. They only just now, and not even very good, trying to figure out brain surgery and doing a horrible job, just disfiguring people left and right. I don't know anybody. Well, let me shut up. people got to do what they got to do. But I'm not letting nobody mess around in my brain, especially not no modern European. Hell, they some Asiatics I ain't going to mess around in my brain. But this is the information that I found. We got so much stuff. How many people listen to Sisters Standing on Law Sunday? What? Sisters Standing on Law, it's the Blog Talk, it's the Moorish Heritage and History Full Blog Talk Radio. Sisters Standing on Law broadcast every third Sunday. However, because we were kind of, we were traveling, we pushed it off to the fourth Sunday. So we had Sisters Standing on Law this past Sunday. It was part 3 of the analysis of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, Articles 13 to 25. It was absolutely amazing. Just absolutely amazing what came out of those articles. And what was really, really exciting is that we put the syllabus up on Friday. It was 21 questions. I wasn't intending it to be 21 questions. I was intending it for it to be 9, but questions just kept coming. So it ended up being 21 questions. And so we didn't think that everybody would be able to get all of the answers, but they did. Everybody was on point. Everybody studied. Everybody had the answers. It was like Family Feud. I'm serious. It was like Family Feud. You had to press 1 to get into the queue to answer the question. So whoever hit 1 and got into the queue first, that's who was picked to answer the question, just like on Family Feud. But if you didn't catch it, all of the Blog Talk broadcasts, they're archived, they're free, they're MP3s. You can download them to your phone and listen to them. You can download them to your computer. There is 3 years' worth of archives. So if you're behind, if you're new today, go to the MHHS Eyes Wide Open Blog Talk Radio, and you can go back and you can just start listening. 3 years worth. If you forget the Blog Talk Radio name, go to RVBey Publications. It's right there. But we went through that Treaty of Peace and Friendship. It was electrifying. Just how much we learned from the treaty. We did the American Constitution, then we did the treaty. This month, we're going to have an open discussion about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. So if you didn't catch part 1, 2, and 3, part 1 was the introduction and salutation. Part 2 was Articles 1 through 12, and Part 3 was 13 to 25, and Part 4 will be the discussion. Because, look, when you read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, how many people have read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship? How many have studied and analyzed it? Do you realize, in our analyzing of that, it absolutely shows you who is who. If you are confused, who can do what here on American soil? Read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. It's right there. There was a question it asked. It talks about if there's a discrepancy between the American citizens, it should say the citizens of the United States of America, but it just says, but if you read the introduction, it's between the United States of America and Morocco. Those are the two parties involved. Even though in some places you can see where it was altered and they just put American or American citizen, it's United States of America citizen. But there was one issue in there where it says if the United States of America citizen and the Moors are at odds with each other, the law of the country is the law that will be used. Right? Right? So now the question was, what country are they talking about and what law? Because remember, the American Constitution hadn't been written yet. So what country are they talking about? What is it? Morocco, right? Morocco right here. And what law? Constitution wasn't written yet. No, this is the law of the country. Ain't no treaty yet. Say it again, who said it? The Iroquois. The law of the Great Peace, which is the precursor of the American Constitution. Actually, it's not the precursor. It is the American Constitution was adopted from the Great Law of Peace. I mean, who knows? That's what you have to do, the studying and analysis as well. Wait, Mike. Where is Ross Mariah? Where's she? What is she doing? Oh, your question, I'm sorry. Oh, it was actually, yes, it was an excerpt from, excerpt from the book The Nazis, World War II. It's a Time Life book by Robert Edwin Herstein, page 132. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, all right. I'm sorry, what?
The Confederate flag was the Iroquois flag. It was our flag. It is our flag. Ain't that great?
I'm done with this, so what do you want to do next?
Oh, you know what?
The Hitler thingy.
Oh, you sent it all up.
Yes, I did, and I printed a copy for me and you. I copied and pasted.
You might want to guide or work with Lyndon on his matter. I got it.
Do what?
Lyndon is going to be listening.
Come on up, Lyndon. Lyndon is going to talk about his experience of last week. How many people was here last week? Islam? Wait. The mic. The brother got the mic behind you? Yeah, but you gotta go over the ear. Yeah, that's correct. That's absolutely correct. How many people know that? Yes, you're right. They don't tell you that in the histories. A lot of the people who had been murdered by Hitler were Asiatic, but they don't tell you about that. That's that missing portion of the Holocaust, right? People act like the Holocaust of the Asiatic people is only on this land, but it's not. You know why? Do you know why it's not just on this land? Well, now, what does that mean? It was happening everywhere, but why was it happening everywhere? What's the whitewasher? Well, that's correct to a certain degree. It was going on everywhere because, yeah? Well, we were everywhere, but guess who was always walking behind us? Modern Europeans. They were always coming, and what do? They befriend us because we're not violent people. We're very peaceful people. This is not me making this up. It always happens. They befriend us, right? And then what do? We teach them our language, right? We teach them our customs, right? Next thing you know, they dressing like us, right? Trying to talk like us, trying to, embrace our customs as though they are theirs, right? Then they marry into our family, and then we transfer our inheritance to them, and then they get rid of us, and now they are the Aboriginal, so-called indigenous people, right? Isn't that what they do? And this is why we are not supposed to be mixing with them, because it creates a problem. Because over time, we forget true biology. True biology says that, hey, isn't it written that in her womb is a nation? Right? And this is really about the uniting of families, right? So which family we're talking about more than one family, right? There's only two families here. There's the Asiatic and there's the modern Europeans. Now the Asiatic people are Aboriginal, indigenous to this land. This is our vast estate. The modern Europeans are not indigenous. They're not Aboriginal indigenous. So they can never inherit, correct? But the only way that they can make it appear is if they hook up with one of our Moorish sons, right? And then the Moorish sons will claim their offspring because we don't know what true biology is, right? And then what happens usually? They will kill off the son. They'll mysteriously die. And then all of what the son has, which he's really not supposed to have because the inheritance goes through mother. But they got something from mother too, right? We saw that with Pocahontas. How many people know the story of Pocahontas? The real story. If you watch The Last Queen of Hawaii, you're seeing the Pocahontas story. Because then what happens is Pocahontas is a true Moor. The last queen of Hawaii, she is a true Moor. But she married a modern European. And then the modern European, she has a child. The modern European takes the Aboriginal indigenous child over to Great Britain, right, indoctrinates them. They are Asiatic, male or female. Who you think they going to hook up with? You think they're going to go back to Hawaii and hook up with one of their own people? No. That's why today the story of Pocahontas is supposed to be a warning to us. It's a message. We're supposed to look at it, study it. A lot of the things that have happened in our past, we're supposed to look at it, study it, and make sure it doesn't happen again, but it keeps happening over and over and over again, like we can't learn our lessons. Islam. With that, I'm going to bring up Mr. Linden. You want that or you want this? All right. Linden is going to tell you of his experience last week. Last week we were going over the right to travel and how ridiculous it is that they are enforcing this, and yet we're so gullible we fall for it because we are lacking information. So while I was here talking about it, He was listening and traveling, and I'm going to let him finish telling you what happened.
All right. So I was on the way over again, which then I really wasn't going to come. But think what just happened in a sequence where it was like 8 to 9, 9 still. It's 5 minutes. So, you know, I think my mind just doesn't.
Sorry. I'm sorry. This is better. Hold on a minute. Well, I'm just going to talk. And you put that in there. All right. Yep.
Yeah. Something like that. Being we
this is not plugged in. That's why it's not going over. Are we not going over the air? You're not plugging in? Excuse me. I'm sorry. I hate to break your thought again. I apologize. Yes. All right. Got it.
All right. So anyway, jump in the conveyance, head out. Miss the exit to actually come over the 3rd Avenue Bridge. End up coming over the Triberg Bridge. Right? Come off the 125th exit. Now, if you know when they come off the 125th exit, to come up to 125th Street, it has 2 lanes there. And that light is actually the green light. It's for 3 different directions of traffic. So I'm sitting there, I pull up in the right lane behind the ambulance to come straight onto 125th. Right up behind him, can't see the light, nothing. So here comes a SUV now. In the left lane, he stops right next to the ambulance for about 5 seconds, and then I see him pull off and make a left and go on down 2nd Avenue. So I peep now, and I see a red light. So I was like, he just run the light. But at the same time, I forget to mention, when I was coming off the exit, I noticed a police enforcer car parked right down in the cut. So I'm saying to myself, well, how come they didn't go after him? He just run the light. That is how it appeared to me, because the ambulance now I'm behind him and he not moving. Right? So I listening to the class, because I was on the phone from the beginning. I listening to the class, and Maran ain't going in, Raz going in, and I was like, all right. So the ambulance pull off now, but I still look to my left, look to my right, peep at the light, I see green, so I continue. So as I continue now, you know how sometimes they flash the light? They just give it a little flash and a pause. Like, all right. I see I know they ain't coming after me, right? Because I ain't do nothing, I ain't run no light. So I ain't paying no mind to them. I was trying to tune in, tune back in. So I see the lights actually come on now. So I say to myself, wait. Them can't be coming after me. They probably get a call, because sometimes they get a call and they pull on the lights and pause to figure out which direction they're going, because no sirens, just the lights, right? So, still traveling up. So I see them coming slow. So I say they're probably still trying to figure out which way they're going, what they're going to do. So I say, well, all right, let me pull to the right a little bit so give them some room to park. So I see them pull behind me. So I was like, oh boy, here we go, right? Class going on. No. This is the first time this ever happened to me, right? Keep that in mind, first time. So I pull over. I was smoking a cigarette. I flipped the cigarette out the window. The mic, ain't good. So, anyway, rain falling. Come outside. So it so happened to be an Asiatic sister now. Nice, pleasant, calm. She come to the window. I was like, hi, good night, how are you? She look at me. I think she peep at the registration. Say, okay. She said, you're aware that you just took the wrong light? I said, really? I said, no. I said, oh, that is what happened. So I started telling a story now because I had explained to her I was behind the ambulance, and I was sitting there waiting for him to move to indicate to me that we have the green light. And at the same time, I noticed the black SUV, just how it happened, the black SUV pull up, stop for a few seconds, but then they pull off and went left on 2nd Avenue. And when I look, I see the light on red. And I was scratching my head and saying, well, how come you ain't going behind him? Because it looked like he just ran the light. And she's standing up there listening to all of this. Right? So I tell her the story. I said, well, I was really unaware, and even though I pull off, I still look right, look left, look up, and I see green. She said, yeah, well, that was my green. I said, well, I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't know that. It was a mix-up because I couldn't see no piece of the light because of the ambulance that was blocking me. So, she watched me, and it's like she thinking. She said, well, all right, you need to be more careful, things like that. I was like, yeah, definitely. I said, but thanks for telling me that. Sorry, I really apologize. So, she go to walk off now, but she just, do a slide and come back. She said, you know what? Let me just check your papers while we at it. Oh, Lord, here we go. I was nervous, I ain't gonna lie. Nervous. I was nervous at first. Class still going on, loud. If I turn on my phone and put it up here in the head now, you hear how loud it is. She in the rain, the partner coming around the car with the light. I wasn't just paying no attention. I just see the flash, so I know who that is. But I wasn't focusing on him. I was focusing on her. At all times, eye contact, right? So I say, well, if it's a license you're asking me for, I say, I don't have a license. She look at me. She said, why you don't have a license? I said, well, I'm a Moorish American, and I'm traveling right now, and I have a constitutional guaranteed right to do so, and so do you. She looked at me again. She said, you need to have a license? I said, well, I said, that is true. But I said, that is true if you're conducting commerce on the road. You understand? I want to be clear on how I actually say it. It's true if you're conducting commerce, if you're engaging in commerce, yes, you need a license to drive. But if you're traveling, you have a constitutionally secured right to do so. If you're acting in commerce, like a bus driver, a taxi driver, a business, any business, I explained it that way to her. And she's still watching at me like, what to do with this boy? What to do with him? So I said, well, she said, well, do you have any idea or anything like that? I said, at that point in time now, being that I was rushing out of the house, no wallet. I said, well, yes. I said, well, to be honest with you, I was just rushing out of the house because trying to get a class, that's what you're hearing on the phone right now. And so happened, this same conversation we have in here is the topic of conversation. And I was just trying to get to class, late, so I really forget my wallet home with all my nationality card and everything in it. She started up, she watched at me again, but I just traveled my judicial notice, right, just in case anything happened. After I explain myself to them, I will just point them, look here, these are the facts, Supreme Court case laws, there is what it is. If you still want to violate, you violate. It's up to you. I ain't begging you, but I'm telling you what it is. So I pull it out, pass that to her, because, your appellation on there. I said, look, that's my appellation on there also, She said, look down at it. In the rain, look down. In the rain, and you know how it was raining last week. So she said, what is this? I said, well, that is a judicial notice, which is basically stating the facts of the law. She just take it and hand it back to me. Standing up in the rain. 12 years I on this job, and I ain't never hear nothing about this. Just like this, same position. 12 years. They don't teach us nothing about this. I said, well, And before I could say anything, she said something else, and we went back again to the license. You know, well, in the state of New York, you know, you need to have a license when you're driving. I said, well, again, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. You understand? She said, well, that is what our job is. We here to enforce the law. I said, well, I totally comprehend where you're coming from, and I understand your job, but who you work for is the corporation called New York City. What they have is something called policies that they call law, and they try to pass it on to us and teach us that this is the law, which is not. It's a corporate policy, and those are the policies that you are out here enforcing. So I totally understand what you're saying, and you are correct, but that's not the law. The law is the supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution, right? Then she, like, so, well, you ever been pulled over before? Remember what I said before? First time? I was like, yeah. Right? You ain't gonna say no. You don't want to be the test subject. Yeah, I got pulled over before. She was like, what happened? I said, they let me go. She said, oh, okay. In the rain still, and she like trying to figure out what to do with this one. Look, 3-4 other cars done stop to see if they need backup and all of that. And 2 of them, she and her partner just stand up in the rain. I was feeling so sorry for them, I wanted to offer them an umbrella, right? Just because she was an Asiatic sister. But anyway, so we get into a next little conversation, and I actually asked her, I said, what's your nationality? And she fall back and hesitate a little bit, and she said, well, as far as I know, I'm an American. I said, well, yes, that is true. I said, no, what nation you connected to? What's your nation? She fall back and she watch at me again. I said, all right. She said, well, I don't know nothing about this. I said, well, you want some information? I have to share some information with you. Now, I have some cards with RVBey publication on it in the glove box. So I said, hold on 1 second. I just stretch over. No intention of, he might want gun. None of that. Like, stop in the rain. Reach over, grab out a few. I was like, here, well, hold this. You could take one and pass one to the friends and family and things. I say, when you go there, you will get all the information you need about, you know, your nationality, your birthrights that we share. You understand? We have the same nationality, and I don't identify to you already who I am, a Moorish American, right? Till now, she don't know my name, my appellation. She don't know it. Not the first, not the title. Till now, throughout all of this, right? No ID card. So she look at it. She said, what's this? I said, that's a website that you'll get, if you go do a little bit of research and you'll get all the information you need. She take out one, hand me back the rest. I said, no, you can keep them and hand them out. She said, no, I'm good. Stick it in the pocket. So before she walk off now, I was having that little small interaction there at a line. When I was explaining to her at the point in time with New York City being a corporation and stuff like that, I basically give her a brief on the name in all caps that she has. You know, I'm trying to connect the dots, just to plant a little seed and give her something to think about. And then I jumped from there and I went to taxes. Because now, you know, it's still in the rain. Still in the rain. And
was someone Asian?
no, he was East Indian descent. All right? But same family. Same family. Yes, same family, Hindustani. And so, where was it? Oh, the tax. So, I say, they tell you taxes, you're supposed to be, I say, the taxes, they take out of your paycheck every pay period. I say, add that up for a year and think how much things you could do with all that extra finances in your pocket. I say, and they tell you, you're supposed to pay that tax by law. I say, that's not law. That's a corporate policy. And I stress on it. I say, it's not law. They tell you it's law, but it's corporate policy. And on the site, you will get information there about that too. I said, think about how much taxes will it take out of your finances, especially when you're doing overtime. Because if anybody know NYPD and they're doing overtime, they get licked. And I hear that with my own ears. I hear they had a time I was traveling on the train and they had two officers, an Asiatic and a European, and they just, you know, they got me for 1,500. Man, they got me for 18, man. I ain't doing no more overtime. They be forcing me to do this, forcing me to do that. So they're trying to figure out ways now how to not take the finances and do the overtime and put it into the time. So that, you know, they build up time for vacation or whatever use they want to use. Just not take a hit to the taxes. You can imagine your paycheck. You go to get a paycheck. You're expecting like $5,000. And you're missing $1,500 or $1,800 in taxes. You understand? They get paid every 2 weeks. So do the math on that. So I know it's a tax. So I know that will draw her attention. And when I said that to her, you know, she looked at me like, oh, you know that. You ain't supposed to know nothing like that. You understand what I said? But I already know. But anyway, you know, we were just there for a little while, and she was just like, so after that happened now, she said, well, you know what I could do? I could write here a summons for the red light, and I'll just leave out the license. I said, well, okay. I said, well, it's up to you. But I think to myself, you don't have my name. You understand me? You don't have my appellation. You don't know who I am. So I'm trying to hand her back the judicial proclamation. Oh, well, yeah, you need the appellation right here. So, you know, she just breathes it off like, you know, waving off like, you know, I was just playing with you or something like that. And then, you know, she walk around like a cowboy for 2 seconds, you know, and then she said, all right. She said, you know what? Even though you have the right to travel, even though you have the right to travel, you still have to follow the rules of the road. You get that? You still have to follow the rules of the road, even though I have the right to travel. I didn't catch it until the next day. She already knew. You understand? And I didn't catch it. But she really did say it. You know, I started to pay attention to how she said it, and the position, you know, was like, I'm going to get the last say on you then. You know, even though you're going out, I'll let you free, but I'm going to get the last say. Remember to pay attention to the rules of the road. I was like, thank you very much. Have a good night. She said, all right. And that was it. You know, I really wanted to come in last week and talk about it, you know, because I was like, look how funny this is, right? The mother's on the phone going in, and all this time the phone on, you know. So she was probably listening to the phone more than she was listening to me. I don't know. But that energy that was in this room here was channeling through me, you understand? And I was speaking in an intelligent tone, and I received a favorable response. That was it, on my way. You understand? And you know, and next time... No, you see, think about it. Let me express this. Let me share this too, because they had, oh boy, and this was touched on in the last 3 classes. All right, be careful what you think for, what you ask for. Be careful what you think. All right. Now, sometimes I would just be thinking so much that I sometimes think the wrong thing. And one time I had a thought, I wonder how you will handle it if they really pull you over, because I really don't care, right? Before I didn't even know about license, I was traveling without license for years. I had a drawer designated for summonses. When they stopped me, I was getting at least 3 to 5 summons. No license, no registration, no plates, tint on the window, all of that, right? That was way before I even know about this knowledge. And then I get scared, and I get pulled into a foreign jurisdiction that I really had to go get a license. But then now, well, that's out the window because I come into the Moorish information about my nationality and my birthright. So all of that out the window. But the thing is about, there's the thought I had, how I would handle myself if this ever happened. I come last week and get the experience. So now I don't have to think about that no more. I know what I will do. You understand what I'm saying? And you really have to be careful what you ask on and how you think. Because it happened many times to me. Many times I sit down just thinking, having thoughts, and you know you need to do this and do that to get some more experience. And guess what happened? That is the fastest one that comes. The fastest one that comes, and it happened to me recently as well. 4 months ago. You understand? So now I just be so cautious about what I'm thinking about. You understand? And how much energy I put into it, because things just happen like this. And then you might have to wait about a year and a half for it to actually come there. But that is just a little piece of how powerful your mind is, that your thoughts will manifest like. And the universe in control of everything. So whatever they have for you, you're going to get it quick if you ask the right question. You understand? So with that, I say, and look.
Thank you. All right.
I feel like we got like assembly line on our neck. I forgot to mention one more. This works, right?
Yeah, but it's over.
I forgot to mention one more thing that we will be discussing today. And with her super fine thing that she has. Did you type the answers on this?
No, I didn't. This is what was already written.
Listen, I don't know how many of you are aware of this group of people. I don't like using appellations because I don't like identifying, like saying, oh, that was him over there or her over there. It's the action that needs to be recognized. You know what I mean? No matter who did it. So we do that. There was someone who actually tried to say one that we... What's the name?
Oh my goodness! What was the name you used?
Malicious.
Hate.
Something that has to do with hate. Malicious intent. Huh? Malice. Yes. Malicious comes from malice, but it was something else, another terminology. And hatred. So we went over publicly. Someone had said they were sending us back all the cards. They sent us back cards, but we didn't even establish. Because our wasn't even from us. Because they have suddenly decided really to give up their Moorish nationality and decide to be what? What are they?
I don't know.
We don't know. But we do know
they're announcing their Moorish nationality, and because it is presumed that the uplifting of fallen humanity is a commercial activity.
We do know this. Can I say how they're spelling their name now? Their affiliation?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
You know that it's RVBey and Ali, right? Okay, so these people are really out of their mind. They don't want to be an E-L. They want to be E-I-L. What the heck is that, right? But they're not of the Moorish family. So now they're saying that everything they talk about, they act like your decline of your nationality is a commercial process. This is the problem that we have, and many people have. They keep talking about commerce that has nothing to do with declaring of your nationality. If you're going to get into any type of merchandising or commerce, hey, good for you. Do what you do, but go in as a Moor. And go on, and it's the same as joining any club or association or membership. Go in and do it. I don't want to be a part of the membership. Leave it to Moor. What the heck? You got to be who you are from the fine. You know what I mean? So they have confused that and have led other people to be confused that declaring nationality, which is a birthright, which means if it's a birthright, right? Isn't it a birthright? Come here to truth about your nationality and your birthright? Then that means that you're born with it, right? Then that means there is no institution, association, or anything outside of that can give it to you.
Or take it away.
Which is why Prophet Noor Ali said, no one can change your descent name. So when people email us and talk to you and others and say, well, I can't be a Moor unless I go to a temple, that means they didn't get that this is about birthright. Meaning you're born with it, meaning it cannot be removed. No, go. All right, okay. It means that nobody can give it to you, nobody can take it away, period. What part of come here to truth about your nationality and your birthright? Now, to think that Prophet Noble Drew was professing this, came to share this information with us, and that unless you go to an institution that he established, which we honor, of course, that, what is that? Did he say that? Institutions do not create the cause. The cause creates the institution.
Yeah.
You get it? So, of course, he established institutions for you to come in and hear the truth about your nationality and your birthright. Right? But who says that unless you go to one of those institutions, you can't be who you are born to be? That's great. If it wasn't for the fact that it was your birthright, he never would have established Jack. He never would have said, here, come here to truth about your nationality and your birthright. Because it's a birthright. So anyway, and he's going to break this down because this guy sends us back all of the judicial laws and proclamations and trying to say, well, the Constitution is suspended, UCC this, and he can express that because she combed through it. Before this, they sent back all their nationality cards, including some that we didn't even make. They think that we're the... In fact, the ignorance... Is there anything about the Moorish nation insignia from Franklin? Is that in there? Can you imagine that the coat of arms, right, that the Pope still carries around that belongs to the Moors prior to, that when you look it up, it says possibly ancient. Can you imagine one of your brethren saying, yeah, see, this is proof, this belongs to the Crown of England? Who could be that ignorant? Okay, but this person, so we're responding by this. It's ridiculous. So basically we're saying, if you don't want your Moorish birthright, brother, why don't you just go, make a written say-so and just leave us the hell alone and out of it, because you're sending us back stuff just because I said I'm a Moor from my Moorish nation and you said you won and maybe you gave them something we're not necessarily saying. You sending it all back to me. What the heck is wrong with you? You exchanged it. It's your property. Anyway, now that you've gotten it. Keep your stuff, man. What are you sending it back to us for? So this is the kind of stuff that I'm saying where we cause our own downfall. We are hatred that's in us. What? The secret company?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, after you go through that, maybe I will. But did you have your hand up? Yes, Brother Lawrence. Did I say everybody has the right to a nationality and the right?
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Federal race code?
The which one? The federal which? I don't know about the federal. You're not talking about 51. Are you talking about? Is that regulation 75?
No.
51?
Federal race code. It's 57 for the Moor.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that.
But there's only, but see, now here's the problem I have about race and races. And I had a discussion with someone, and
that's a policy decision.
It's like, for instance, there's a directive 51, I think it is, or 15. 15. All right, now, whoever's read Directive 15, have you noticed it at the top right, I believe it is, or at the top it says this is not based on, it is not an anthropological report. Meaning it has jack to do with race, because there's only one race. You know what I'm saying? Directive 15 is telling you that they have determined these classes, but it has nothing to do with anthropology. It's not based on, man, it's based on, and the nature of that. It's based on something they created. So therefore, they have things on there to check off that you to be that you really can never be, and neither could anyone else. And I say that to say that there's only one race. And there's people who, even when they find out how the modern European, what we call the modern European, which is really the Paleolithic man, which is the pale-faced, the pale man, whatever, the black man, the Negro, for real. When we say how he got here, the first thing is, that's a different race. No, we didn't create a different race. Because if we are 100% of the human DNA, and we are, especially women, we got it all. All right? The breast, everything. bring in the life, right? So whether man is 100% of the human DNA, right? And then we take that, which is our property, and we put it into an experiment and mix it with an animal. That's our property. That's what we made. Look what you have up. The fact that people want to run from it, and that's not me, is the Frankenstein story that got us in this thing, therefore consequently afterwards. Excuse you? You made this? And you talking about you don't get, because see, it's the human DNA that came from your mother that was put into it anyway. So now you feel like you don't want to be a part of that. Your question?
Yes.
Oh, we need the mic. Okay, thank you, brother. Oh, hold on. If it's not going over the internet, why not?
Because it's going to the camera.
Well, then which one's going over the internet?
The one you have.
You mean there's no other camera that's going over the internet for people to hear the questions in the audience? Why not? What happened? You can't get another one out? Do you know why? Do you know why that's not going over the internet?
Yeah.
Oh, in this room where we are. All right, we'll just talk loud. Go ahead, we'll repeat you. It's going out of the camera now, so you get the camera and get it clear.
So that's why Neil Armstrong was supposed to be multi-step. One step for man, one step for man.
One small step for man. No, one small step for mankind. Because man, no, not man. I'm man.
Right, but
Mankind, that means one giant step for man and one small step for mankind, because mankind is what it says, a kind of man, akin to man. That's what mankind is. So when you say mankind, that's what you're talking about. So now the 100% of the DNA that belongs to you, that is your property, you put into something else, and now you want to run away from it like you don't want to be bothered with yours. That's the fault. That's it. That's the problem. So for people to say there's another race, no, it isn't. There's only one race. Somebody's talking really loud. There's only one race. This room is a little different where we are. There's only one race, and it is the human race. Let's clear another thing up. How many of you think that being human means you're a monster? How many have heard that? You've heard that. Okay, let's clear that up. Failure to read the definition properly is what happened with that. Because the definition of monster says that it is something that is in human form. That means if it's in human form, then the human thing existed first, and now this thing came in the form of human. That's the first thing it says. And it says with animal blood, that's what's in Oxford, all right, and no inheritable traits. That's a monster. But that's not a human being. So this is where half study comes from, or listening to someone who does half study. Whichever one you choose, neither is good. Because then I want human because I'm not human. That means I'm a monster. What are you talking about? So now we just have to get unfortunately we make pivotal decisions based on false information, and some people are able to correct that because they can, and some people do not wish to correct that, and it causes a hard-hearted, hard-headed people. So with that, there it is. Vatican City. Can you believe it? All right. You go ahead and come over.
How many people have seen this craft? It's on the RVBey Publications website.
Mm-hmm. It's on Moor's Responsibility and Ability. Right?
How many people have seen this? I wanna try and see if I can find it, because this person.
Because the definition says
oh, cool.
classification,
This is great because this is being alleged that this is the crest of the Vatican City.
Not certain person.
All right? Now, what you have to understand is the Vatican is talking about Rome. That would be the Italians, the people identified as Italian, right? Modern. But the average indigenous people of that land is melanated. We know this, right?
Right.
All right. The original so-called Italians are Moors, right? Right. So now, would it be unusual for them to have a crest with a melanated sister in it?
Yes.
Right? This is a melanated sister in this crest.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Is the Vatican that is sitting in that seat right now melanated? See that? You can see it's on the RVBey Publications website. That crest, that's the Asiatic sister right there. This is called the Moor's head. Is the Vatican that's sitting in that seat right now a Moor?
No.
Hell no. He's really an imposter. So somebody didn't do their homework, right? But they wrote on here that this Vatican City crest, and then there was something else that because we're using their crest, because we're using our crest, all right, because I use a similar Moor's head crest on some of my documents when we're talking about nation business, not individual business, nation. Evidence that all Moorish Americans are under the Vatican because we're using our crest. Somebody clearly didn't do their homework, right? Now, how many people know what a contract is? Contract. All right. So now, is the name correction a contract? No, it's not a contract. Why is it not a contract? What is the markers? I need the markers.
Right here.
How many people? Let's analyze this. Hold on. I know y'all know because y'all are crispy sharp. Thank you. All right. So now, please, can somebody tell me what is a contract?
Agreement with
There's three. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If you guys want to see a nice color image of it, you can just pass this around, make sure and give it back to David. That's the Moorish head crest in color. That's on the RVBey Publications? All right. So can somebody tell me there's three elements that makes a contract. What are they? Offer and acceptance. Yes. What else? What would we call that? Meeting of the minds would be what? In order for me and you to have meeting of the minds, what must be present? Full disclosure, right? In order for us to have a meeting of the minds, right? I got to know everything, you got to know everything, right? Now, let's look at the name correction. Was there an offer? No. Was there an acceptance? Because what was being offered? Was there full disclosure? There was full disclosure, but there is no offer or acceptance. Can anybody tell me how you correcting your name, or I should say appellation, taking on your culture, your history, taking back your nationality equals a contract? All right? Can anybody tell me that? Can anybody speculate? Thank you. It don't sound right. It don't. Now let's look at the proclamation. Let's look at the proclamation. The proclamation, you know, how many people have read the proclamation? You know, I realize that a lot of people have not read the proclamation, which is why they probably make statements about these documents because maybe they haven't read them. Because that proclamation, when I read it, and I was like a lot of you, how many people read the proclamation before they autographed it?
I had to read it a couple times.
You're right. Let me tell you something that's so funny about, well, how many people ever did the removal? How many people ever had to do a removal to a so-called federal court? How many people ever had to do that? Well, it's good that you didn't. How many people know that there's a removal on the website? Have you ever read it? The first time I ever got a traffic ticket, I was like beside myself. I was in tears. I so wanted somebody to just come and do it for me, and I'm so glad they didn't. But I was like really in tears. I cried through completing that entire proclamation. I cried through the entire Yes, I did, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm so glad I cried through it, but I did it. And I put that thing in the mail. Didn't even read it. Filled in the blanks. I do not recommend that. It doesn't always work that way. But because my intent was so very honorable and so innocent and pure, it resulted in the ticket being nullied. But I didn't read it. But like a year or 3 went by, and I found all of this information, great and fantastic information. So I finally, 2-3 years later, sat down and read the removal. All of the information that I found was referenced in the removal. I could have saved myself 2-3 years. Excuse me? The removal is more than likely, Roz. The removal is on the Writs of Freedom page?
Oh, Writs of Freedom is a copy of the removal is on the Writs of Freedom page.
All right. So let's get back to this little thing here. Now, these papers were sent to us. Now, how many people know the process for the name correction and proclamation? Everybody? You fill it out, right? So if you filled it out and sent it to me, am I copywriting your name? Is there a copyright infringement here? How could there be a copyright infringement? You sent it to me, filled out. How many people understand that this is a writ? The name correction proclamation is a writ? It's an affidavit, right? What is an affidavit? A statement of fact. Now, what happens if you put out a proclamation? For example, you might have put out an affidavit that you're a resident of Connecticut or a resident of New York or Philadelphia. All right? You might have done that, right, in your past. right? And then you come into this information and you realize, oh, that's absolutely incorrect. What would you do? Thank you. You write a new affidavit. You do not return to sender or return an affidavit or whatever you receive. Like, for example, over the years, I had enlisted aid, right? And they ask you, oh, I need you to fill out this form saying where you live, right? Right? You ever need food stamps, WIC, what do they call it, cash assistance, medical card, whatever, right? You got to fill out this thing and you have to say where you live, right? Right? And sometimes, well, today I think they even want you to get it notarized, right? I know farther up north they do that these days. They're really trying to get you into some fraudulent contract. But here's the analogy of this. Now, once you come into the information and you realize that you could never be a resident of any of these corporations, right? Would you then go and dig up your copy of that, what do they call it, address verification, and then send it right back to the state of Connecticut or the state of New York or the county of Philadelphia? Is anybody doing that? Nobody's doing that, right? Right? Nobody is doing that. But when your nation comes and tries to inform you of your nationality, when they try to assist you in proclaiming your nationality, because, see, declaring is something you do all by yourself. That's being clear. But we're assisting in proclaiming your nationality. You want to give a little stink attitude because somebody came and is yakety in your ear, and you're falling for it with zero research, and you want to send back to them and talk about, oh, this is a commercial dishonor. You don't do that with the modern Europeans. Why are you doing that with your family? But this person is alleging to be so far awake more than us here.
Well, sometimes
you are so right. Sometimes the fool is the wise guy and the wise guy is the fool. You are absolutely correct. But, you know, we talked about this a little bit last night as well, because there was a question in the chat. There was a question posed in the chat room, and it was like, I thought you could only declare your nationality to a nation. Hint, in her womb is the nation. To a nation, a temple, or a grand sheep, right? Now, every female is a nation, because in her womb is the nation, right? The first temple is the body, right? And she is the grand sheep because she is the grand architect, and it is in her womb that the soul of Solomon is built in the dark without tools. So they just said, isn't she supposed to be doing this? Well, she is. Right? She is. Even if she has not declared her nationality, she is doing it. Because it's all about her. But then the flip side of that is, if you can only, because see what they're trying to say is you can only declare nationality and kind of get it back because it was lost. Somebody took it. It's gone. You don't have it no more, right? It's not in the blood, right? So you can only go to a temple to get it, right? Right? How many of you know modern Europeans who are going to a Catholic church to get their nationality? Anybody know? Any modern Europeans going to a Catholic church to get them? How about a Protestant church? Any any black Baptist going to a church to get their nationality? But only the Moors, it's only the Moors that can go to a temple? We're so limited in our own land that we can only do this in a temple while everybody else can go all around the world, can go to the YWCA, the Department of Motor Vehicle, everywhere. Everywhere. We can only go to a temple. What kind of craziness is that? Crazy. And that's the mental enslavement. And I have to say, we as people, we have got to stop leaning on this crutch. I'm not beating anybody up. I'm just saying it's past time that we give up. Well, you know, I've been mentally enslaved for 300-400 years as the reason why I am not going to study and go and find myself and make some corrections. Because it ain't about nothing outside of you. Everything is about what's inside of you. Nobody has any control over anybody. We all have absolute control over ourselves. Nobody controls you. You might allow people to control you, but you're still doing that, right? You're still doing that. And, you know, the great thing about that is if you got yourself into this situation, through changing your mind, you can get yourself out. I remember years ago they had these books, Change Your Mind, Change Your World. How many people seen these books? Change your mind, change your world. It sounds so simple, stupid, right? Like, I don't believe that mess. What else I got to do? Who do I have to pay? Well, it's absolutely correct. It's so absolutely correct. Because you know what? It is our mind that got us in this situation to begin with millenniums ago. And it is our mind that's going to get us out of it today. And that's why the prophet said, draw a circle around your passions and square up your conduct. Because these modern Europeans so know that we are easily distracted, especially you guys. They know that money, women, cars, piece of cake. You can distract a brother with one of those three things. They know it. Am I wrong? God's got this thing with cars that I will never understand, because especially today, it's just a bunch of plastic. It's not even steel. It's just a bunch of plastic. I couldn't get it. I didn't see it until I saw this accident. And I saw people, the car crumbled on the floor, on the ground. I was like, oh my God, it's plastic. It was crumbled on the ground. And I was like, well, golly. And people are paying thousands of dollars for plastic. I'm like, Lord. my man, Cat Williams, he's like, these guys is putting $5,000 spinners on their cars and they can't even see them. And I was like, oh, now that's some ridiculous stuff as well. But we do stuff like that, right? Because these modern Europeans know that we will dump $5,000 into some spinners for our cars and then argue about a $15 book. That's going to free your mind and give you some information about nationality and birthright. But we'll dump $5,000 on some spinners for a car that you can't even see as you're traveling down the street. Is that crazy or what? So these modern Europeans, they know we can be distracted, right? Brothers, y'all, cars, money, women, right? The more scandalously dressed, That's the way they have mentally programmed us, right? And women is just as bad.
You get those things spoken. That's why I didn't get them.
You're right. You're absolutely correct. But, and there's nothing wrong with wanting a mate. But I'm going to tell you another thing, that there's a lot of brothers and sisters, they are hooked up with mates that will never, ever embrace nationality and birthright and will pull you down, and you stay with them. Which I know, I've been here since 2008, all right? I know that if you're a guy and you're with a sister and she's not down for the nationality and birthright, I ain't going to see you for too much longer. I know a sister, if you guys are with a guy and he's doing the same thing and you got children and he's supposed to be home watching the child while you can come to class, I don't see you too much longer either. Because he's going to leave babies and go out partying and call you and tell you they get your behind home from this so-called nationality bull-crap shit. Or I'm going to leave these babies by themselves and you're going to have to leave. There's too many of them and you won't be coming back either. Ain't it crazy how we work against each other? I know, because I experienced that. It wasn't for this particular subject matter, but back in the day when I was trying to do some stuff, oh, please, I had to run home. And then I got tired of that, and I paid for my babysitter to keep the children longer so that I can do what I got to do. I didn't care. You wasn't going to stop me. Sorry, that's not happening. But that was school. But ain't nobody going to stop me with this either. But the point I'm making is we all got decisions that we've got to make. And some of the decisions you're not going to like. But I will say this. Whatever decision that you need to make, you need to study. And study and study and study some more before you make a decision. Because once you make a decision, you need to be content with that decision. Islam? So we got like 9:30, and you gonna read that letter, that thing that you read up there, because it ties in so nicely with. Yes. Yes. It's so unveiling, and oh hell no. Hell to the no. Look, you know what? You know what's so good? What's good about what's happening right now is everybody, all Asiatic people, I don't care if you're conscious or not, you need to congratulate yourself and other Asiatics because we made it to the age of Aquarius. We made it to the age of Aquarius, where now the floodgates have opened up and information is being dropped on you every second. We wasn't supposed to be here, you know. We were supposed to be extinct before the age of Aquarius arrived. Because if we were still here, then it's a wrap. It's over. So we need to congratulate ourselves because we made it. Islam? I have this one on. Is this one on?
Yeah, but that doesn't go over the ears.
Oh, this does not go over the ear.
Ready to go? You know what's interesting? A lot of people will ask me and others, well, how do you know when we're in the age of Aquarius and are we really there? And how do you know when we're going to be there and all that? Well, it's really, it's when everybody knows. what they know, because there's no such thing as time. Everybody has knowledge. And when the information is overflowing, such as the same with not water in the womb, really, can I say that without people feeling like, oh, they're just talking about women? But this is what it represents. With knowledge, waters represent knowledge, right? Everybody knows that, right? All right. That's why even when they talk about the smooth stone that Goliath picked up and hit, Samson hit the Goliath in the thing, the water was flowing over the stool to make it smooth, this information. Okay? All right. So we know that water represents information. So the water is like when a child is born, the water's in the womb, they swell, information, right? And then burst. So when we're there and when we're finished being there, it's when a new birth comes. When all the mind's consciousness is one with the truth, or one with the information of truth. Because I know everybody's truth is different. Your truth is different from mine, but there is truth. And it doesn't change, it doesn't pass away, and it needs no apology, right, brother? Ali? That's right. That's a fact. The impaired explains that to you. So when that occurs, that's when it's there. So it's like, well, when is the age here? When is it gone? That's your gauge right there. And that's what this is about, because it'll all stand still or appear to you. Because there is no time, just cycle. Person sitting next to you might get there before you. The next thing you know, it's like they're gone. You don't see them anymore, or whatever like that, because they poof, they're in another dimension with the information. You see what I'm saying? Okay, how you doing? So now, with that being said, I got to ask this question. Brother Lawrence, what is Temple 35? Is that in Brooklyn, Bronx? What? 34? Is there 34 or 35 in New York? 34? Which one? You don't go to 34, do you? Is 34 a Bratton Bay one? Bratton Bay with where they naturalize people? Is that which one that is? Okay. What is 34? I mean, what is 30? And 21 is the one you go to? Which one do you attend? 21. 34 is affiliated. All right. Are they doing the Moorish Shield thing for lawyers? Do you know about that? Moorish Shield. You've heard of it? They don't do that. 34 does. Now, the brother went out, Dag and Nabbit. I want him to come back. Look under, I wanted to play it. I want to play it. The advertisement for the Moorish Shield. You got it? I just want... You do? Pull it up for me. I want to put it on the mic. I want to play the beginning of it, and I want you to tell me when I should stop, because it's clear to you that this is not good for Moors. See, our problem is that we are so indoctrinated to have other people do for us that modern European go to the Lord, go hire an attorney to do for you. That's our problem. Because law and lawyer means layman. Layman, the easy thing, supposed to be easy, because a civilian, right, is one by definition that's skilled in the law. The reason you're skilled in the law, the reason you think that it's complicated is because it's been presented to you incorrectly. So you know what I'm talking about. This may be a daily thing. Oh, yes, does that work? That's going over the air? Is this one going over the air? No, this one. No, only this one. And are you good going to listen? I just ran out of it. No, I'm going to put this mic by it. Yeah. No, I got... Oh, yeah, that too. All right, can you see? Can you push play? Everybody quiet and listen to this. This is not our advertisement. Hold on. Welcome to our Q&A portion of the video. Question. Start over again. Because
Moor's Shield was set up by two active Moorish Americans to assist with setting aside the discord facing their nation. 2. Can anyone use Moor's Shield? No. Moor's Shield is set up to aid and support card-carrying Moorish Americans. You must be a Moorish American to register for Moor's Shield. 3. Will Moor's Shield help get you out of trouble with the law? Moor's Shield is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. If a Moorish American has broken a law, he or she is expected to answer for that law. Moor's Shield will notify the member's Grand Sheikh of the incident. He or she would then evaluate the incident and proceed accordingly. All Moorish Americans must proclaim their nationality, and in doing so, under their own laws, they agree to be law-abiding United States of America citizens. 4. As a Moorish American,
We're done. That is enough. There's more. That is, temples are actually, it's a trick. But the brother said that temple was actually putting people under, you notice that you're a minor European that was talking. Okay, all right. Moorish Shield is some crap that the temples, some temples is giving and making available what? Moorish Shield is like what was that place that they had,
I know what you're talking about the Boeing, the Shield, that's what that is.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They're replicating something very similar to something, legal something. Huh? Legal Shield, whatever, but now it's called the Moorish Shield. Now, hold on. Now, I'm not saying that, listen, modern Europeans, some Europeans are helping, why aren't you? I'm not saying that. That's not it for sure. This guy could be from any Moorish dominion across the nation, but could be with the Red Cross. No, he's with the Moorish Shield. Somebody created the Moorish Shield, and it's about you obtaining and hiring, not attorneys, because they know you don't like that word, but a lawyer. And my problem is that as soon as it says that, first of all, two things. If you've done something that's not lawful, because even TSA says this isn't about, protecting criminals. Too. When you understand what's what, you realize who the criminal really is, and that's them. These people pretending to be government, they're the damn criminals, impersonating officers of the court, the whole 9 yards. But to say that, one, if you get in trouble, your grand sheet will determine what your penalty should be. What if I'm a Moorish American and I don't have a grand sheet of the temple? Because I don't have to be in the temple to be who I am. That's number 101. So this is specifically for clubs. Now, I'm telling you that the temples, as Prophet Noble Jolly intended to be, was not necessarily, was not a club, because he himself said, I am what? Taking the covers off as what? All secret society. So how the hell are you going to operate like a secret society when he himself said, I'm taking the covers off? I'm unveiling that, right? So that's number 1. So what they're saying is you only can be in the temple, I guess, in order to get some Moorish Shield, because the Grand Sheikh must not know law enough himself to be able to impart that to you. So we got this. The other part is, and this is the grave part, this is the grave digging part, is that they say that you are a citizen of the United States of America. They are putting you back into slavery. You cannot be a citizen of the United States of America. Now, why somebody who's in a position for however many years, doesn't matter, doesn't get that, I don't know, including the ones who say we're going to naturalize you, and they're following the 13th Amendment with the 20 sections where 12 says you can't be a citizen of the United States of America, but they boast about this is the way to go based on Amendment 13 that, was hidden from us. This shows unstudied situations. I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, well, you need the mic.
I think what's happening is the thing that happens with the church doing the 501.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, because some of them are 501c3s. Now, let me just give you a little quick about that, because I'm doing another book that's coming out soon, too, called About All Licenses. I mean, it's all kinds of license, not just driver's license, instrument, but a license to do construction, permission, marriage license, occupational license, the whole bit. They're all asking authority, period, which you don't need to do. Does that mean you shouldn't be safe? I didn't say that. That's like people say, well, we don't have a license, then everybody would just be chaos. Who said that you shouldn't teach your children how to operate a machine or a conveyance? No one ever said that. But because the connection is that the only place that you would get that from is in one of these corporations' businesses, you don't think, well, I can start. Oh, got some truckers here that are retired maybe. I'm only saying that because they would have the experience of how to navigate, but it doesn't mean you have to be a trucker to do that. Well, start something where you're teaching the people how to navigate a conveyance. You see, we have to start thinking that way. And it's not that we ask anybody, it's our own thinking. That's why Prophet Noor Ali said, I came to take you out of your mental fear, because it's mental. So the part about that is, somebody gets heavy. You just missed it. Thank you. But the part about that is being a citizen of the United States of America. Impossible. That's what this whole thing is about. You got SIA, or the corporations and the charters, union states, now states, that are operating on your ancestral state. Therefore, we have to establish the United States of America for them. It's simple. We the people do ordain this Constitution for the United States of America. They're two separate things. Why? To form a more perfect union, right? For a matter of domestic tranquility. I mean, don't mess with me in my home, which is why the prophet said, if you don't enforce this right here, which is written for them, you're going to be molested by these damn other citizens. And that's exactly what is happening, because we didn't enforce the law that our ancestors laid down to keep us in place for posterity, meaning forevermore. We're looking for some new thing and some other thing, and so let's start a new government and all that kind of craziness. Huh? Haida. Oh, yes, exactly. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. So,
on the back of the card, the card, which doesn't mean it.
Doesn't mean it.
It means United Salvation Allah.
Well, now, if you were an adept such as you are, you would know that USA in the temples mean Unity, Salvation, Allah, and not United States of America. So then if your grand sheik doesn't know that, they're not qualified. Or they know and are infiltrating. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of them, and neither one is good. So this is what is interesting, is that, because we are so used to and need somebody to hold our hands through everything, because we've been indoctrinated for that. It's not that we need it, because in our spirit and soul we know we don't need it. It's just that we've been trained. And that's what I was supposed to do. And in this class today, right? And you said this was appropriate, right? This is called the secret covenant. Are you listening? Oh, and let me just say this before I do it. You will hear people say things like, oh, yeah, conspiracy theories. Oh, yeah, anti-government. We talked about this last night, just like we talked about don't go out here talking about you're a sovereign citizen, because you are not a part of a sovereign citizen movement established by Europeans, and there's no place called sovereign land. You are not a sovereign citizen. Sovereignty comes with your nationality. The moment you declare your nationality, that is where your sovereignty comes from. And if you were to say that you were an Irish, just as an example, then you have full sovereignty in that land, not here. Right?
Right.
All right. So I'm just using that as an example, because truthfully, all four corners of the earth, the ancestors are Moor. But this is the heartland of civilization, believe it or not believe it. It's why it's the empire. I'm talking about North America. the Americas, period, North, South, Central, and in Jordan Island. And that's why this is, part of why this is named after that, in name only, as the Empire State. The Trade Center. So when people say that, like, they'll say, are you anti-government, or what you're saying is anti-government? Well, if you know that what you're dealing with isn't even government, then how possibly can you be anti-government? But if you allow them to say that you're anti-government because you're going against, in your actions and thoughts and deeds and writing, what they're doing, it's because they're not government. So the first thing is to identify the parties. They're not government. In fact, if they were government, they would be preserving your rights, not trying to steal them and rape them and rob them. And that's just logical. But then we say, all right, but there's so many that do, they're still killing. We said today, first they were killing they were killing, kidnapping the guys, the sons mostly, out in the street, because they're the warriors, front line, right? Then they were, what were they doing with the babies? Started kidnapping the babies from the mother's womb out of the hospital, talking about, you can't take the baby out unless this and unless that. Like, keep this in mind, because I'm going to read something here. And now they're saying, forget it. We're just going to kill them. Their agenda has not changed. Ours must. Just in thought and changing it and putting the seed out correct changes it. That's what's happening now, is that consciousness is raising in reference to this. Just thinking it. If you write just one writ and you put it out anywhere, it's everywhere in the universe. Because when you write something, you cast a spell. Some people say, oh, it's a curse. No, it's casting a spell. It's a good or bad one, depends on what you cast. So this is why we have to know what we're writing. So keep that in mind, that you're not anti-government if they're not the government. Stop calling them the government. Stop calling these police. You call these policemen. They're not policemen. You're calling them policemen. You're giving them a power they don't have. You have to stop doing that because the word has to be right. First, there was the word, and you're casting that information. So the secret covenant says, an illusion it will be. So large, so vast, it will escape their perception. Those who will see it will be thought of as being insane. We will create separate fronts to prevent them from seeing the connection between us. We will behave as if we are not connected to keep the illusion alive. Our goal will be accomplished one drop at a time, so as to never bring suspicion upon ourselves. This will also prevent them from seeing the changes as they are occurring. We will always stand above the relative field of their experience, for we know the secrets of the absolute. We will work together always and will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks. We will keep their lifespan short and their minds weak while pretending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge of science and technology in subtle ways so they will never see what is happening. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators, and sedatives in food and water, also in the air. They will be blanketed by poisons everywhere they turn. The soft metals will cause them to lose their minds. We will promise to find a cure from our many fronts, yet we will feed them more poison. The poisons will be absorbed through their skin and their mouths. They will destroy their minds and reproductive system. From all this, their children will be born dead, and we will conceal this information. The poisons will be hidden in everything that surrounds them, in what they drink, what they eat, what they breathe, and where. We must be ingenious in dispensing the poisons, for they can see far. We will teach them that the poisons are good, with fun, images, and musical tones. Those they look up to will help. We will enlist them, though, to push our poison. I just got to say this. Somebody say church. I just got to say this right here. You're right, because the preacher man, the clergy, he has to come out of his normal clergy and come into secular clergy to marry you. And then he turns over the license to them. So, yes. But he tells you, my fellow Christian loving, preacher John, people, that this is the house of God and everything in here will be done through the eyes of God and the guide of God. Then why did you just take your behind out of that position to go over to be secular clergy to get you to sign a license and give it back to these modern Europeans? Say, you got them right, put them in the orphan department because they just got married. Oh, you did that because they told you you would be a 501c and you didn't have to pay taxes. Well, if you knew anything, you would know you're not paying anyway. So it's a sellout. That's the hypocrisy. All right. So, getting back. Where was it? Those they look up to will help. We will enlist them to push our poisons. They will see our products being used in film and will grow accustomed to them and will never know their true effect. When they give birth, we will inject poisons into the blood of their children and convince them that it is for their health. Sisters, don't let them get vaccinated. Your breast milk is the vaccination. It's true. The first thing that comes out from breastfeeding is colostrum, which is the immunities for the child. You don't need their injections. You don't get the diseases they get anyway. And then when we get them, it's for you, for this right here, so that your babies are born ignorant. All right. When they give birth, we will inject poisons into the blood of their children and convince them that it is for their health. We will start early on when their minds are young. We will target their children with what children love most, sweet things. When their teeth decay, we will fill them with metals that will kill their mind and steal their future. When their ability to learn has been affected, we will create medicine that will make them sicker and cause other diseases for which we will create yet more medicine. We will render them docile and weak before us by our power. They will grow depressed, slow, and obese. And when they come to us for help, we will give them more poison. We will focus their attention toward money and material goods so they may never connect with their inner self. We will distract them with fornication, external pleasures, and games so they may never be one with the oneness of it all. Their minds will belong to us, and they will do as we say. If they refuse, we shall find ways to implement mind-altering technology into their lives. We will use fear as our weapon. We will establish their government and establish opposites within it. We will own both sides. We will always hide our objective but carry out our plan. They will perform the labor for us, and we shall prosper from their toil. Our families will never mix with theirs. Our blood must be pure always, for it is the way. We will make them kill each other when it suits us. We will keep them separated from the oneness by dogma and religion. We will control all aspects of their lives and tell them what to think and how. We will guide them kindly and gently, letting them think they are guiding themselves. We will foment animosity between them through our factions. When a light shall shine among them, we shall extinguish it by ridicule or death, whichever suits us best. We will make them rip each other's hearts apart and kill their own children. We will accomplish this by using hate as our ally and anger as our friend. The hate will blind them totally, and never shall they see that from their conflicts we emerge as their rulers. They will be busy killing each other. They will bathe in their own blood and kill their neighbors for as long as we see fit. We will benefit greatly from this, for they will not see us, for they cannot see us. We will continue to prosper from their wars and their deaths. We shall repeat this over and over until our ultimate goal is accomplished. We will continue to make them live in fear and anger through images and sounds. We will use all the tools we have to accomplish this. The tools will be provided by their labor. We will make them hate themselves and their neighbors. We will always hide the divine truth from them, that we are all one. This they must never know. I got to stop right here for a second. You got that? Prophet knows you already said you must learn the truth as a divine truth. And he said there is only one way. My mother's breast gave you something. That's why the oldest bone they refined is the African male by woman, because that's the breast. So you can take all the blood tests you want to see what kind of blood you came from and where it came from. It all came from the zero, baby. It all came from the 360. The only blood there is the 360, and then it came from there, which is from her. So what are you talking about? It's all going back to where I don't care. Now, if you want to find out, is it B, is it C, whatever they call it, because I should eat this or eat that, as they say. All right, but don't do it because you're going to find out what tribe you came from. We're all the same family with different family appellations. We will make them hate themselves and their neighbors. We will always hide the divine truth from them, that we are all one. This they must never know. They must never know that a man's color is an illusion. They must always think that they are not equal. Drop by drop, drop by drop, we will advance our goal. We will take over their land, resources, and wealth to exercise total control over them. We will deceive them into accepting laws that will steal the little freedom they will have. A statute's not a law. We will establish a money system that will imprison them forever, keeping them and their children in debt. When they shall band together, we shall accuse them of crime and present a different story to the world. For we shall own all of the media. That's what the prophet said. What? You have to have your own paper. You're going to need your own media, your own newspapers to shovel yourself out from the avalanche of lies that will be heaped upon you, what? Daily. Coming already here, coming already here. See, the one I said, let me keep going. When they shall rise up against us, we will crush them like insects, for they are less than that. They will be helpless to do anything, for they will have no weapons. We will recruit some of their own to carry out our plans. We will promise them eternal life, but eternal life they will never have, for they are not, oh shucks, this is the only word that came with this folded, for they are not honest, I think it says. All right? So they will never have, because they are not honest. Well, here, the next line, fix it. The recruit will be called initiate. You ever graduate? Mm-hmm. And will be indoctrinated to believe false rites of passage to higher realms. Members of these groups will think they are one with us, never knowing the truth. They must never learn this truth, for they will turn against us. For their work, they will be rewarded with earthly things and great titles. but never will they become immortal and join us. Never will they receive the light and travel the stars. Now, let me just say this. Titles, sons, daughters, don't matter. Stop trying to get a pre-title, king this, I'm not saying that, those weren't, all of these, like, prince this and, this more. What's the other one? I mean, there's a bunch of them.
King, something, star.
Always got to put that in front of your free national appellation. That's what it means, titles, like false titles. The only titles RVBey, DL, and Ali, which is the title to the land of 5 families. That's it, that's all. Drop all that other stuff, not that you can't be called that, not that you aren't that. It's a free title. This is about a free national appellation in your family. And they all want to do that, man, and it's like, wow. So, for their work, they will be rewarded with earthly things and great titles, but never will they become immortal and join us. Never will they receive the light and travel the stars. They will never reach the higher realms, for the killing of their own kind will prevent passage to the realm of enlightenment. This they will never know. Thou shalt not kill. Let me say it again. They will never reach the higher realms, for the killing of their own kind will prevent passage to the realm of enlightenment. This they will never know. The truth will be hidden in their face, so close they will not be able to focus on it until it is too late. Oh yes, so grand the illusion of freedom will be that they will never know they are our slaves. Mental slavery. When all is in place, the reality we will have created for them will own them. The reality that someone else has created for you will own you. This reality will be their prison. Isn't that the right? They will, the prophet said, I come to take you out of your what? Mental slavery. They will live in self-delusion. When our goal is accomplished, a new era of domination will begin. Their minds will be bound by their beliefs, not what they know, their beliefs. The beliefs we have established from time immemorial. But if they ever find out they are our equal, we shall perish then. This they must never know. If they ever find out that together they can vanquish us, they will take action. They must never, ever find out what we have done. For if they do, we shall have no place to run. For it will be easy to see who we are once the veil has fallen. How many times will you hear us say that? And you say, you need to know who is who and what is what. Because if you know who you are, you know who somebody else is not. Simple. All right. So it will be easy to see who we are once the veil has fallen. Our actions will have revealed who we are, and they will hunt us down, and no person shall give us shelter. Can these modern Europeans go anywhere today? And the last resort is right here on your homeland. You got to wake up, you sleepy-headed Moors. You got to wake up. They're not there for your salvation. They have their own stuff for their salvation. What's yours? It's not. All right, hold on now. When I go, okay, so if they don't find out together, okay, they will hunt us down and no person shall give us shelter. So we got to use our media and the electrified age of information, as the prophet said. He passed Form 29 and he said, in this electrified age of information. He already knows about the media and the internet and the web and all that stuff. But what are you putting on that? Because if you're doing Facebook instead of having your book interface, or your face in a book, excuse me, then there's a difference. If you want to give it all the private information because it seems like fun, like you said, the illusion of, using programming and stuff, then you missed it. Because why? because that's what ego does. It makes you think it's all about you, and it's not. It's about posterity. So why you haven't enforced the Constitution, which is written for this modern European to keep them off your ass, you all right, is because your ego's too damn in the way. That's why. Because you really think it's about you. And that's part of the problem. Because posterity means your children's forevermore. So when you pass this on to your child, they got it to preserve for them forevermore. Cannot be altered, nor can it ever be changed. There's no authority to do so. Because the word means forevermore. All right. They must never ever find out what we have done, for if they do, we shall have no place to run, for it will be easy to see who we are once the veil has fallen. Our actions will have revealed who we are, and they will hunt us down, and no person shall give us shelter. And by the way, this is your own people that did this to you. I'm going to show you that. I know you think it's the modern European, but they're nothing but descendants of your own people, and you've got to accept that. And until you do, you can't move on because you want to make a separation of where they came from as if they got peeled off the wall somewhere instead of taking responsibility that you brought them here, be it through a laboratory or any other experiment. That's what keeps you divided. Islam is not, and you talk about slavery when we're the ones who started slavery. Then you have other brothers, talk about, I don't know why they talk about the Moors, they put the Arab people in slavery. We started slavery. What the hell are you talking about? Europeans was born into slavery. Modern Europeans, as we call them today. Let's get real. Don't let them turn you away from being who you are as a Moor just because they're telling you that Moors started slavery. You're damn right. They must never, this is the secret covenant by which we shall live the rest of our present and future lives. For this reality will transcend many generations and lifespans. This covenant is sealed by blood, our blood. We are the ones who from heaven to earth came. This covenant must never, ever be known to exist. Too late, age of information. It must never, ever be written or spoken of, for if it is, the consciousness it will spawn will release the fury of the prime creator upon us, and we shall be cast to the depths from whence we came, and remain there until the end time of infinity itself. Eternal hell, they say, right? What's infinity itself? Even though this planet is known as hell because it means the lower realm, which is Asia. Asia means lower realm from the cosmos. That's what it means. So when we say Asiatic, it's because it's the whole planet. The reference to. I think we have to quit. What was the book? Well, I'll tell everybody to read it in the Bible. That what the reason is that what this is. If you read the book of Enoch, what is it, Dave?
The book of Enoch. It's not. It's the book of. Of the Bible.
Right.
So the book of Enoch uses the same kind of language.
Of this.
And the Son of God finds the Lord
to be fair. Why? Right.
Why? To get rid of that.
Right. Right.
And the language is similar
to this. That's why I said it's maybe your own people who have done this, right? Because the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fair like that, so we got to know who we're talking about. You're a differentiator, thank you, brother, and make distinctions, all right? So the book of Enoch was, like all of the books that are in the Bible, they only chose 66 of your ancestors' ancient writings for the most part. No big deal. God didn't write that. Your ancestors did. All right? 66 of them went, 66 of those books is what compiled and went in to make the Bible in 325 AD, meaning after the death of Jesus, or what you call Jesus, they decided to put together what the tenets of this Bible and what the tenets of Christianity would be proving to you ain't got jack to do with him. He was done already. He was gone. After domination, or some people say after death, but it's of Jesus or Yahshua, but it's really after domination of the Moor. So now, that's right. So now what I'm saying is that the book of Enoch, which I would read, but we run out of time, maybe we can do it next week, has the same close to language as this. Now, anybody here for the first time today? In the back over there? Oh, all right. Yes, the young son of Eve. The young son like this, he might want to speak to you about his papers. Anybody else? We got somebody over here? Oh. Well, those are giveaways that we give, yeah, for people who are new. Yeah, and the books are back there, though, if anybody was looking for. Also, if anybody was interested in the fez or waiting for that fez or what have you, the brothers and sisters, they're here in the back for that, or for ordering that, on pins and things like that. We have them here today with us today. Huh? Okay, the east for us here is, it's this way, yeah. Yes, sir. All right, now, Brother Ali, I know. Let me give you this mic. I got the lapel mic, and I'm going to put it on you because you're going to do our invocation now, Brother Ali. Thank you so much. Oh, you got it? All right, let me put it. All right. Sorry about that for the listeners that I dropped in my key phone. All right. Are we good? That's not going to forget. I did it. Be good. Hold on. Again, we're going to only be here the second and third Wednesdays of the month. It's a new schedule coming, and sometimes 3 weeks if there's 5 weeks. It won't be in the first week and the last week. I'm not sure about this month yet because
first and second week. You say
the first and the last week of the month we will not be here.
Right. This is the first and second the first month.
The second and third Wednesdays we will, and sometimes the fourth if there's a fifth week. But since this is a transitional change right now of the building, I don't know whether we'll be here next week. Check the website. Check the website. Just because I don't say I have it right here, and also weekly events, not calendar events, weekly events. Weekly events means here. Calendar events means things that can happen outside. Yes. Say that again. It's the active corner.
This way.
Oh, well, we're going to concentrate on the active corner here. We're going to get out of the way. I want everybody to see the corner. Yes. I like that. That's a 90-degree angle, a corner. That's when two angles meet. Whenever we have both right now, so I'll see our right corner. That's the senior, so we'll see. I trust this. But
Islam. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Repeat after me.
All right.
Allah, Father of the universe. Father of love, truth, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, through Ali, and also known as Sheikh Sharif Abdullah Ali. Amen. Peace and love.
Islam.
Oh.
Yeah, no more racism in that. All right. Islam.
I brought this song of what you thought.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to make a copy of this, and he's going to go to bed. Thank you so much, brother. Y'all both happy just like what happened.